These are the 3 biggest time wasters that keep 4, 5, and 6-figure organic dropshippers from making more money. Now, if you're new to the channel, over here, we're all about making big boy bucks with organic. Not that measly make money online bullshit, make your first 10K online bullshit, but actual high level lessons, education, and strategies on how to go from, a few thousand in lifetime rev, 10K in lifetime rev, 100K in lifetime rev, multi 6 figures in lifetime rev, and scale far beyond that. So with that in mind, I thought it would make sense to make a lesson on what not to do if you want to make more money with organic. Now, this isn't just some random list I put together for the sake of making a YouTube video. Not only am I a 7-figure organic dropshipper that's been through most of these mistakes, but I also own the highest level of coaching that exists within the organic dropshipping space, where we specifically work with 4, 5, and 6-figure organic dropshippers and help them scale. So this list is literally put together from the most common and crucial mistakes that I witness firsthand. So let's start with the first time waster that is keeping you from making more money, which is running products that are extremely time consuming just for the sake of what they convert at per mil. Now, this is going to be one of the shorter ones on this list. Just look at this from a common sense perspective. I know it's really hard to look at a product that, converts at 5K per mil, 8K per mil, and not have that urge to be like, dude, I don't care. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll put all that time into it. It's going to be worth it. And to want to pick up and start running that product just because, you're just hearing the Shopify notifications going off in the back of your mind when you visualize you running that product. Except you let that blind you from, the amount of time you're actually going to put into it, and also the amount of time that you would put into the videos for this product that you could put into 2 or 3 more products that convert at the same per million views. And although none of these are in any particular order from best to worst, the reason this one is so crucial is because this just really plays into volume and output. Now, there are outliers out there of like 10K per mil, 15K per mil products, where then maybe, just maybe, it might be worth it to go that extra mile. But for there to be so many products out there that convert at 2, 4, 5, 6K per mil, it would never make sense for you to choose one that is obviously extremely time consuming, is gonna have you running around like a chicken with its head cut off trying to film for it. You have to go here, you have to go over there, you have to go to a certain location. Maybe the product itself, you have to tear off a thing a certain amount of times. It takes a million years to get through just one video. Or even worse, some of these products out here that you have to buy a brand new sample for every single time you film with. And this is just common sense. Even if you don't know what these products are, you're basically just saying to yourself, hey, look,
there's all these other products out there that may convert at 5K per mil, and I'm just gonna choose to run the one that is gonna be most challenging, consume the most of my time, and take up the most of my brain bandwidth
that I could have just put into running 3 products with the same amount of effort. So to give you my perspective on this, and I think it'd be smart for you to kind of create your own sort of guideline as well. It's going to be different for everyone, but me, this is kind of taken to the extreme end, and I'm in a position where I can do this, and a lot of you aren't, but me, I'm kind of in a position now where I'm literally only choosing products that take me maybe 10 to 15 minutes max for one video from beginning to end. And now guys, keep in mind, as I've already prefaced, this stuff is based off data, not just stuff I've went through, but students that I actively coach that make 6 figures, 6-figure months, 20K days, actual organic goats. And I have seen these guys try to pick up products that are taking them hours just for 1 or 2 videos a day. And it'll leave them stuck at that 10K a month, 20K a month. And then the moment they let me convince them, hey bro, look, I know this might be making you a little bit of money, but let's drop that. And then we're gonna be able to pick up this green and this green, boom. A few weeks later, 5K days, 10K days, they're doing this, they're executing this and all these different things. Now, I'm not saying,
oh, just start doing this, now you're gonna make more money with organic.
I'm just saying it's very obvious. It's almost never the right decision to pick up and run these products that are gonna take you stupid amounts of time to film for. And I'm letting you know right now, it's okay for you to be a little bit picky when it comes to picking products, regardless of what they convert at per mil, when it comes to how much time it's gonna take to film, edit, and post a video. Now, moving on to number 2, which is probably actually definitely the most common mistake that I see in this entire space. And a lot of it just comes from, you make your first 10, 50, 100K from the internet, but you're still just not a good entrepreneur yet. You're probably gonna get there, but until you start understanding how to make decisions at the right time and making decisions like this, you're just simply not there yet. And that's why this is most common, because most advanced organic dropshippers are still in the baby phase of entrepreneurship. And what this is not automating tasks that are easy for you to delegate. Now, there's a handful of things you can actually automate and you should delegate, within your business, but the main one that I see people kind of hold on to and try to cheap out on just to hold on to a few extra bucks a month, and really kind of is the most crucial for your business. And especially when it comes to automating and really getting to, big boy numbers with organic, is going to be customer support. Really, mainly more specifically, like customer support in the back end of your business. Now, whether you are or aren't doing customer support, or if you feel like your numbers aren't consistent enough yet to justify, hiring customer support, it's still going to be worth you listening to number 2 here, because I'm going to basically lay out the entire foundation and the best fundamental way for you to implement customer support to where it actually benefits you, and you're actually going to sit there and see like, wow, I'm so glad I implemented this. I'm so glad I did this, because now I have all this time to do all of these other things that make me so much more money, instead of getting emails from fucking Shalissa and Jeff over here who are wondering why their product isn't there in a day because they paid $4.99 for, express shipping. Now, of course, as I've already said, and the most common sense side of it is it allows you to delegate a task, meaning you now have more time to put into things that can make you more money, run an extra product, run more products, try to figure out a way to implement creators, scale this, look into this, etc., etc. But it also plays a big role on your mental state in a positive way when you get rid of this task. And the less brain bandwidth you're using on annoying tasks that don't matter, that are so easy to hand off to somebody else and automate, the more time and the better decisions you're going to be making for your business as a whole, which have a direct impact on how much money you make. The moment you feel like, dude, these emails are so annoying, I do not want to deal with them, just that alone, even if there's not a lot, but to you personally, would be worth you paying a customer support team. Now, this is not me saying to go out there and find the cheapest VA that you can get your hands on Fiverr that speaks dog shit English, can barely even decipher what they're saying in their replies to customers, and don't know how to handle chargebacks or returns. That would, make it even more of a headache for you. Or you could do even worse than the random VA from the Philippines and, implement some of the crazy stories some of my students have told me about, them training their little sister or, their girlfriend to do their customer support for them. And, in hindsight, that sounds like, oh man, I get to save a few $100 a month. Oh, I'm smart. But that just leads to more issues down the road. And you're also not understanding the opportunity cost at hand of you training them, putting your time and effort into them. Also, when you're dealing with relationships like that, there's a weird dynamic to where they're not going to take it as serious, they're your sibling or your partner. So then it's going to be awkward if they're not doing it right. And like all these different things. Be a better entrepreneur, hire a good customer support team. And really not even just a customer support team, but hiring what I like to call a customer support team on steroids, like the one inside of Per Mill. And that customer support team I'm referring to, they're not your random VA. And I'll kind of just give you a perspective on what I did and what they do. So you can either, probably even hire this specific customer support team from inside of Per Mill, but also, if you wanted to go a different route, go and train your own customer support team, kind of the way I have. So I've trained these guys for almost 2 years now, and they also work for like 90% of my one-on-one students. And they are extremely accustomed to our specific business model, being organic dropshipping, not paid ads dropshipping, not, this random business model or just some, we do customer support, but trained specifically on organic dropshipping. So not only are they doing all of the basics perfectly, like, responding to emails at the fastest rate humanly possible, sending all these like beautiful branded emails, they're making up fake names, they're responding with perfect English. They have all these like tricks and strategies of, reducing returns, chargebacks, all these things with the things they'll make up and say. And it's crazy, some of the stuff they do. But they're also automating like 40% of the back end of your business. And one of the main ways they do that is they're trained to be inside your supplier's group chat. So they're not just responding to emails. That is literally just one part of what they do. They're also inside your supplier's group chat and, of course, plugged into your website. So the whole conglomerate of interacting with your supplier, interacting with customers, let's just say, for example, the supplier needs a house number from a customer, then you have to email them, or, you need to go into your Shopify to look at this thing that your customer needs, or that whole conglomerate of all that bullshit you got to do when it comes to customer support is completely taken away from you, completely taken out of your workload. And I mean, if you think about what organic is, that literally is almost 40% of your business as a whole getting automated. You no longer deal with customers at all because, they're in your supplier's group chat. So they're responding on your behalf to your supplier for whatever this customer needs and then emailing this customer and this and that. Also, dude, these guys are so cracked out. Per Mills team specifically, we even have gotten stories of them cussing out suppliers like, yo, where the fuck is this guy's order? It's been, 20 days. Like these things, and think about you having to deal with that. Think about the mental the mental toll that's putting on you and all these different things that we just talked about. You can obviously see now that I'm putting it in perspective for you on how this literally is, without you even thinking about it, is making you less money. Because when you have a team like that implemented, now all you have to worry about or think about is basically all the highest leverage plays that you have to make as an organic dropshipper. And mainly it just comes down to you finding products, you filming for those products, and paying your supplier. That is literally the only thing you have to actually put all of your time and effort into. And honestly, just to add a little golden nugget to number 2 here, also building and creating your own website would be something I should have added to this. Now, I'm not saying you should not know how to create a website. If you're a 4 or 5 or 6 figure organic dropshipper, you know how to build a website. You know how websites work. You know how to create a high converting website. So once you've reached that point, it makes no sense for you to not automate that and delegate that task to somebody else that you pay a few $100 per store for, that can literally make a website just as good, if not better, than you can, that now takes away, 4, 8, 12 hours from you putting all that time into a website. And, I've heard things of people being like,
oh, that's stupid. That's part of dropshipping. Make your own website. It's just stupid. It literally is just stupid. Like, that's like that baby phase of entrepreneurship I was talking about. It's like,
it would never make sense. That is literally half of the skill of being an entrepreneur and building a good business is not only, of course, great decision making, but automating tasks, which goes into decision making, delegating things, all these different things. So website, same exact thing. Automate that as soon as you can. Your entire objective is to leave yourself as a business owner to only the tasks that move the needle the furthest. Now, the third biggest time waster keeping you from making more money, which may even be a little controversial to some, is running products for too long, even if they're making you money. Now, hear me out. Let me explain myself. So there are 2 different situations where running a product, even if it's making you money, actually ends up making you less money long term. Now, the first one of those situations, which I'm one of the biggest advocates for, and honestly, I feel like is one of the reasons I've made as much money as I have with organic, is dropping or getting rid of products that kind of mentally drain you, or that you just simply hate continuing to run, or just hate running, or hate filming videos for. Even if that product is making you a few $1,000s a month, or has made you a lot of money in the past. Now, most of the time, the reason that this ends up becoming an issue is just because like a wrong frame of thinking. Now, for most of you, especially like my lower number guys that are at like 10K to 100K lifetime rev, you're constantly operating in this scarcity mindset, which kind of keeps you from being able to see the bigger picture. And in your mind, the last thing you ever want to do is stop doing that thing that's actively making you money. But since you're operating in such a scarce mindset like that, you end up neglecting and not being able to see the opportunity cost of the position you're in. Because even if there's a product out there that made you 100K 3 months ago, or that's making you a few grand a month, the opportunity cost could be you doing 20 to 40K a month with a product that you were never able to put your brain bandwidth into, or never able to put your energy into, or never even actually go and find the time to do, because of what you were holding on to over here that made you such a lower amount was draining you and your energy to keep you from moving on to that said thing. I cannot tell you the amount of students that I've talked into dropping a product that's doing anywhere from 1 to 5K a month. And then 30, 60 days later, they're, hitting their highest rev month, or at 10X from wherever they were. So all you have to do to avoid this mistake, and it's not some little tactic or strategy, it's just trying to constantly keep the right perspective. You just need to kind of regularly step back and try to observe your business as a whole from above, and just kind of ask yourself, like, is this draining my energy? Is this giving me energy? 9 times out of 10, if it's taking away from you and just, has a huge mental toll on you, 9 times out of 10, that's going to be related and correlate to opportunity cost. Now, with this being said, you still need to kind of take in what I'm saying here with common sense. I'm not saying to go out there and, drop a product that's making you 40K a month just because you don't like filming for it a little bit. At that point, you kind of really need to understand what opportunity cost is, and why, if you're doing like 20K a month, there is, with a product, there is no opportunity cost. And if anything, the opportunity cost would probably be you dropping that product, making you 20K a month. So of course, consume this and look at this with common sense. But for the most part, regardless, I've done this. I'm not kidding. I've done this with maybe 10 plus products that were actively making money that I could have probably, within the next month or 2 months made, 10K more or 20K more or 30K more with, that I dropped and threw out just for the sake of, actually enjoying my life. And 9 times out of 10, actually 10 times out of 10, as you can see, it worked out really well for me. And then the second situation, it almost kind of blends in with number one, but that's going to be, spending all this time on a product or, their actual duration of time. I'm not talking about like filming for the video or, how much time it's physically taking you when you're filming, but you're spending a month, 2 months, 3 months, or you're 100 videos plus trying to get a product up and running, trying to get a product viral, and it's not working and nothing's happening. You just kind of continue pushing it just for the sake of what it converts at per million views. I hear this story far too often. You find out from your homeboy or somebody from Discord, oh, this product converts at 6K per mil. And then before you even know it, you're on like month 3 and haven't done over, 20K views on a single video with this product. And you just can't get over the fact like, oh, but bro, if I get this to hit, oh, I'm finally gonna be up, blah, blah, blah. And you just kind of throw out all logic, and then you end up with 3 months of wasted time where, in all honesty, your probability of actually making money or making more money would have been getting rid of that product a long time ago and already cycling through 3, 4, 5 more products within that same time frame. And I actually have a really good piece of data on this exact subject that you guys get in this video now. And it's extracted straight out of Per Mill's Inner Circle, which is the highest level of coaching that exists within organic. So, this is the best data you could get access to. And kind of if you were to try to break everything down, there's a huge dramatic decrease in your probability of getting a product to pop off after 100 videos or 40 days, whichever one comes first. And really, I guess really the best way to kind of look at that to make it easier for you to understand is just 100 videos. But then again, you got some guys out there that are trying to bang out 6 videos a day. So 100 videos or 40 days. After that, you see a huge drop off in your odds of being able to get the product to work virtually, which kind of goes into 2 different factors. Some of it kind of systematic, some of it kind of just like mental, which as you can tell, a lot of this is kind of about mental stuff. But, main reason is kind of at that point, the account is not liking that product itself. It's just an uphill battle for you to go viral as is. If an account is not going to give you any leeway, up until that point. The second thing is, by that time, 40 days, 100 posts. And if you're actually, of course, trying to test and do all the right things as an advanced organic dropshipper when you test a product, after that, you virtually exhausted, all the best concepts you could. You gave it your best chance. You know what I mean? It just is not the product for you. It's not the account for you. That's not what's going to hit for you. And at that point, you're already exhausted. You're already putting less effort into it, so on and so forth. So that mental side of it is another reason, why it seems that you see such a huge drop off after that amount of time and that many posts. Now, of course, there's caveats to this. There's, of course, people out there that are like, oh, well, dude, I ran a product for 3 months. I didn't get a product to hit for 6 months and now I've made 200K from it. There are caveats, but just in general, if you were to weigh it out, look at the data, look at the probability, even if that were the case, even if you were to keep running it 6 more months, whatever, you still actually have a higher probability of making more money within that same time frame. Does that make sense? And then also, another caveat you should think about is as you're nearing that number I gave you, that 100 posts, if you have an outlier or it's like your 50th post, and honestly I don't even go close to 100 posts with a product. If you want me to be honest, my actual perspective on it is maybe like 40 posts at max before I decide, oh, it's not worth it, I'll just move on, I don't really care. Sure, I could have got it to pop off maybe if I give it another week or another 2 weeks. As you can see throughout this whole lesson, it's really about opportunity cost and being able to see the bigger picture of everything to say, okay, this upfront decision will play a huge role on the grand scheme of things. But if you have a product that ends up getting a viral video as you kind of get to the point where you're about to drop it, you can let that, it wouldn't be the end of the world if you kept trying it a little bit more, if it started showing a little bit of leeway. But for the most part, it'd be smart if you kind of stuck with these standards I just gave you. And now, making sure you're making the right decisions at the right time has the biggest impact on how much money that you're going to make. And keeping you from making mistakes like the few we just went over is one of the biggest benefits you get from getting coached or mentored by somebody that actually knows what they're doing. Inside of my advanced organic dropshipping program, the main thing that our 4, 5, and 6-figure guys benefit the most from is having me and Per Mill's 7-figure team of coaches in their back pocket 24/7, making sure they're making the right decisions every single time. Whether that's a specific video to post, which account they should recycle a product onto, when they should drop a product, how many more products they should onboard, when they should implement customer support, so on and so forth. They have basically a team of some of the best organic drop shippers in the space right there to give them an answer. And on top of you having me and a 7-figure organic drop shipping coaching team at your fingertips virtually 24/7, you also get 4 one-on-one calls with me personally a month. That's 1 one-on-one call with me a week, as well as unlimited calls with your other 2 advanced coaches that have done high 6 and the other 7 figures in lifetime rev. And then you take your coaches group chat, all of your one-on-one calls with some of the highest level organic dropshippers that exist, plus our guaranteed winning products, where I handpick personally all of the products that you should run that are guaranteed to be winners based off of your own product research. It makes it almost impossible for you to lose. You are constantly making all the right decisions for your business at all times. You know every product you're running is going to be a winner. You're getting, coached literally day by day by people who know what they're doing to a T. And it's not even just people who know what they're doing within the organic space, but people who know how to coach as well. On top of that, you get access to that awesome customer support team I just explained that automates 40% of your business. You get access to all of my personal teams and the best of the best in every aspect of organic, all the way from suppliers to website devs to the customer support team. Literally anything and everything you need to make your first or your next 6 figures with organic dropshipping. So if you are a 4, 5, or 6-figure organic dropshipper and you want to start actually making big boy money with organic, I'm going to leave a link down below in the description of this video. You just click on that link, fill out a little application where you'll book a call with me personally, and we'll kind of just sit down, talk about everything you've done with organic thus far, kind of break down your current organic business and how I may be able to help you. I mean, there's even options for you guys out there that don't like calls to message me personally. Regardless, it's just an opportunity for you to, get 10 times further than you are now with organic. So I'll leave that link down below in the description of this video. Go click on it, fill out that application, shoot me a message, book a call with me, whatever, and hopefully I'll be talking to you soon. And for those of you watching this that could care less, awesome. Just keep enjoying all of the free value that I put on YouTube, and I'll see you guys on the next one.